The views and opinions expressed by the guests, callers, and hosts on this and all Rense Radio Network programs do not necessarily reflect or agree with those of the network, its commercial sponsors, its radio station affiliates, or internet broadcast platforms. In these controversial times, we believe the First Amendment and freedom of the press are absolutely essential to the survival of our nation. Thank you. And now, enjoy the program.
Okay, let's get going. We have a busy evening tonight. I'm on the telephone right now. We have a power outage here in our West Coast offices, so we'll be on good old-fashioned telephone for the first, we'll see how long. We have so many things have happened since Gerald Celente was last on the program 4 weeks ago. I mean, it is really a torrent, a deluge of things. I don't even know where to start to try to summarize them. Just a few of the highlights. If you were listening to what they call news at the top of the hour, you heard another story about employment in this country, employment statistics, and that some employers may actually be able to hang on to staff and maybe be thinking about even hiring a few. It's all voodoo, folks. It's all lies. It's all employment voodoo statistical crap. Nothing more, nothing less. Obama, the dictator-in-chief, for some shocking reason, kind of at the last minute forgot that he had been promising to pull all our American boys and girls out of Afghanistan, and he's going to leave them in Afghanistan indefinitely, 10,000 of them. Can you figure out why? Is he there to protect the Constitution and to preserve the Republic here? No, he's there to protect and preserve the opium crop, ultimately. Don't kid yourself. Obama, of course, now has discovered the Australian gun control laws and says, golly gee, they'd fit in just perfectly over here. Of course, a lot of folks, I think, would disagree with that. That's why, DHS has bought over 4 billion rounds of hollow point 40 caliber ammunition. Even the U.S. Department of Agriculture is getting ready to go to war against us. We are the enemy. And then the really good news was, I guess yesterday, the day before, that Obama and Michelle, or whatever it is, are going to buy a house in Asheville, North Carolina, because coincidence of coincidences, one of North Carolina's senators is going to be retiring in 2016. So your choice as to which one of the Obamas is going to run for that seat could be Michelle. Think of Hillary moving to New York. Same kind of thing. All right, well, we have then the other side of the world, the specter of Ukraine, actually demanding of Vladimir Putin that they be paying far less for their natural gas, that they have a bill outstanding in the amount of $4.5 billion to Russia right now. So, I mean, it gets crazier. Not only did Vladimir Putin and Sergei Lavrov promise the Russian-speaking, Russian-sympathizing folks in eastern Ukraine that they would come to their aid if they began to be killed by the evil Zionist lunkies in Kiev, but that's happened and Putin hasn't shown up. So something's up. he's sacrificing a lot of people over there, and they're not happy about it. But anyway, the point is, above and beyond all the things I mentioned, and I could mention dozens more, the biggest story in recorded history continues to unfold. Are you hearing about it nightly in the news? No. Are you hearing about really anywhere but here? No. And that story, of course, is Fukushima, continuing to destroy the Pacific Ocean, the air we breathe, the animals we rely on for sustenance, those who eat animals, I don't, the crops, the fruits, the vegetables, the flora, the fauna, the insects, all being impacted with deadly radiation being released around the clock in enormous amounts from this man-made catastrophe. Calamity, it's a disaster and then some. Hello, Gerald. How are you? Forgive my rambling there.
I'm all right. Hello?
Anything you want to add to that?
Well, yes.
I hope so.
Well, a big one. Iraq.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? We went in there and gave those poor bastards democracy, destroyed them, reduced them to third world status, and now they're turning into an Islamic fundamentalist, cut their heads off, cut their hands off, bleed them to death, lunatic asylum. So we may actually be going in there, folks, and this is where Gerald's going, to run U.S. Air Force, they'll call it NATO, bombing missions ahead of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard who are going to come to the rescue of their people, religiously speaking, in Iraq. Tell us more.
Well, first of all, when you go back, and matter of fact, we did a segment tonight on Trends in the News, which is part of this subscription to the TrendsJournal.
Wonderful.
And picking up clips from the past was Lindsey Graham, Lieberman, reading Hillary Clinton's words, George Bush, John Insane McCain, how we were winning over in Iraq, and what a glorious victory. It was mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's a disaster. Over 1 million people have recorded been killed.
Yep.
You're looking now in Mosul, about 500,000 people are leaving there. And, again, you know that term, Islamic fundamentalists, militants, terrorists, those are buzzwords of hate. These are crazy SOBs that are mafias. That's all they are in a country that's run by mafia.
Warlords.
And which gang is going to be in control?
Yep.
So what they do is they use this language so that we can take sides.
Yep.
And now we're listening, and this was my favorite clip of the day, and that's Susan Rice, our national security advisor.
Another shining example of leadership.
How we have to help our partner in Iraq, and how we have to stop the terrorists that are on their own turf and supply them with more military and intelligence, and on and on and on. Like, these people know what they're talking about.
Right.
So what's going on here, Jeff, is now you take it to another step. You notice oil prices today?
Didn't see him.
Yeah, Brent crude and West Texas, up over $2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the overnight markets, they're up another $0.50. Get ready for a happy summer, folks.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've already jacked up gasoline prices like they do every summer anyhow here. But they're going to have an excuse, you see. Sure.
And that is what's going on in Iraq.
Yep.
So now what you have, and by the way, when we talk about Iraq and Syria and the destabilization from this group ISIS, whatever they call them these days, ISIS.
ISIS, I think.
ISIS, ISIS, sissy, backwards, upside down.
You got it.
You know, who knows, who cares? All it is, it's a more destabilization of the region that has been caused by the Afghan war, the Iraq war, and, of course, that wonderful time-limited, scope-limited kinetic action, the humanitarian mission launched by our commander-in-chief, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Barack Obama, against Libya. And now they got all these weapons when they overthrew Gaddafi. Everybody knows that. And it destabilized Egypt, destabilized Tunisia, Mali, Niger, the whole area.
Syria.
And now when you talk about, again, ISIS or El Sisi, whoever it is, they talk about how these phony borders were drawn up after World War I in the Great Game and how they want them changed. So in other words, it's a continuation of war with just new faces and new atrocities and brought to you by the West. It's crusades through that 2000. It has never stopped.
Correct. 100% correct. What's going on there is we've built up all of these lunatic groups with unlimited weapons, and it's only a matter of time. And as you just said so adroitly, we come up with new names, new boogeymen of the week, of the month. This group is bad, that group is bad. They're anti-democratic. They're butchers. They're this. They're that. It's really amazing when you think about it. And it's all being planned. It's all they know what they're doing. What they've done in Syria too, butchered a couple 100,000 people there. These are normal folks. They're butchering white Christians in Ukraine right now. They're shelling 2 or 3 cities at least in the Donetsk area. It goes on 24/7. We don't hear about it. There's a real news blackout in Ukraine, in eastern Ukraine. We're not getting a lot of information out of there. So it's extended. It's spreading, and it's only going to get worse.
Well, I go to the Russian channels, and I also go to the websites, the different Russian news agencies.
That's where I go. But, I'm looking over here. There's no news about it.
No.
Really?
No, there's none.
No. I go to Al Jazeera. I go to Itar TASS. I go to RTV, Press TV, just like you do. It's the only place you can get anything. So, not good.
Yeah, and so what's going on? So when you ask me what do I see, this to me, this Iraq issue could be a big one, because as I said, when you're looking now on the economic front, for example, today the headline story in the Financial Times, and by the way, I still get hard copy of papers delivered to me. And I get them. It's not that I favor one paper or another. I just want to see the information out there and what's coming from the biggest ones. So I get the Financial Times delivered each day along with the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, the paper of record, or as I fondly call it, the toilet paper of record.
Perfect.
Or as we used to say in the Bronx, turlet paper of record. But anyway, the headline story in the Financial Times today was the IMF, the International Mafia Federation, warning of a housing bubble. Front page story. And they're showing, the increases of housing prices from emerging markets to the developed world and how out of control they are. And then all you have to do is the math. And the math is this simple. 0 interest rates, and now, as we know, in Europe, they have negative interest rates. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, by the way, I get these letters. We're canceling our subscription to the TrendsJournal because you said there would be a crash and it hasn't happened.